Beloved hearts of love's eternal presence, it is a wonderful joy for I, Elohim, Cassiopeia, to be with each of you, to represent to you the love of the mighty Elohim creator beings of our universe, and to offer each of you some divine assistance in restoring yourselves, the I Am race of this planet Earth, as the divine creator beings you were originally created and intended to be. In order for this divine restoration into creator beings, as each of you now, through your studies, through your meditations, as you turn within and above, you are now receiving more light, and you're receiving more love. More light from your higher mind, your Christ mind, more love from your soul. Now, as that light and love begins to increase in you, there are activities within that light, within that love. And within the light often comes divine ideas, guidance, directions, and within the love often comes great qualities of the Mother's presence. And the challenge here is that even though you are receiving an increase of light and love, I see that you are not always aware of the divine ideas and guidance and qualities that are coming through that light and love. And if you were aware, this would assist you greatly in becoming the divine creator beings you are originally created and intended to be. And so I come this day, precious hearts, to help you to understand that when it comes to the inner mind and the inner activity of the mind, the light that your mind requires, your thinking mind, is that which comes from your higher mind. We often refer to this as your higher discerning intelligence, which is the divine intelligent expression of your I Am God self. And I wish all of you, because you now have opened a door through your studies, through your meditations, in which the light of the divine consciousness of each of you is finding a layered and measured increase upon your thinking mind, that you are getting an increase of light and love, yet not an awareness of the divine ideas and qualities that come with that greater light and love. Now, when you call upon the great light of your higher Christ mind, the radiation of your higher mind, to enter into your thinking mind, and to be a sunshine of love in your feeling side of life, whether you recognize it or not, the light from your higher mental body coming into your mind always brings with it the ideas of your higher Christ mind, the thoughts of your higher mental body, and all that your higher mind seeks you to know. Yet you're not always aware of this, are you? In fact, it's very seldom that you're aware of the ideas that flow in with the light from your own higher intelligence, nor are you aware of the qualities that are flowing in from your soul into your heart. Now, I will seek to give you an understanding today of when you call upon the light of your higher Christ mind to shine into your own thinking mind and to be a sunshine within your feelings. And upon that call, does this happen? And the thoughts of your higher mental body, your higher intelligence, are flowing with that increased light. Yet you have not recognized or intercepted and picked up on the divine ideas and thoughts that come with that increased light. And there has to be a reason. Now, I want you to know why. Because if you don't pick up those higher thoughts and ideals, then you do not benefit from the intelligence within that light. And so today, I recognize that you are experiencing greater peace and harmony that you are holding within yourselves. You are more respectful of each other's energies, and perhaps most importantly, you have become more respectful of your own beloved God Presence energies, and you are willing to meditate more often upon your divine nature, and you are maintaining now a relative amount of peace and harmony and joy and happiness in your life. And then comes time that you go out into the world and you've had all these wonderful moments in which you have been in a relative peace and happiness and harmony. And as I suggest, then you go on about your day, you go out into the world, and then some depressing human being comes upon you or something grabs your attention, and then suddenly you are pulled out of that space of peace and happiness and harmony. Or said another way, even when you are in your homes and you enter into a time of meditation and a prayerful outpouring of your love to your presence, in those moments that you open to receive an outpouring of love and light into yourselves, and that feels quite nice, I'm sure, then comes the moment it's time to get on with the other things in your lives. Telephones ring, people bring things to your attention, and again, suddenly you are pulled out of your own inner peace and harmony. That's the core of the problem, being constantly pulled out of your own peace and harmony that you've worked hard to achieve. And that becomes an obstacle for experiencing, becoming aware of all the divine ideas and guidance that is always there as you take steps to increase more light in your minds, more love in your hearts. I wish to say to you is that these moments in which you feel your peace, your joy, your harmony, those wonderful activities of life, they ought to be seen now as natural and as natural moments. And that's the first thing that I wish you to start telling yourself now. That those moments that you experience greater peace and harmony, living in a happy environment within yourselves, that's the natural state of your beingness. Now, certainly you can see it as being sacred and honor that space as being sacred, yet equally honor it as the natural way to be. Because if you'll start telling yourself that that's the natural way to feel, then when you get pulled out of that place, you temporarily lose your inner peace, and you'll start then realizing those moments, that's the unnatural, when you are pulled out of your inner peace and harmony. That's the old self that you've allowed yourself to get pulled back into. And so what I wish to bring to your attention is an awareness of adjusting yourself. This may include a contemplation where you realize more deeply that you experience those moments of joy and happiness. You turn your attention, pouring your love to your presence. You open yourselves in meditation to receive the greater light and the love of your God nature, or the greater light and love that comes from the ascended ones or the angels. And all of this is what Mother Akasha desires for you, and it's quite a heavenly place to be in. And yet it happens, doesn't it, that you get pulled out of that place. You lose your sense of peace and harmony, depending on what is going on in your outer life, or what you unknowingly connect with in the outer world. Now, I'm asking you to understand today so that I can help you, is that often, almost every day now, as you turn your love to your presence and you begin to make your calls, then more of the light is pouring in from your Christ mind, the higher mind, into your outer mind, the daily thinking mind. And more of that light and love is also pouring into your feelings. Now, what was the point that I'm making? Along with that increased light comes ideas from your own higher intelligence. Ideas that, if you were aware of, would assist you in your daily life. And most often you're not picking up on those ideas. And what else? What other grand inner activity? How about the golden voice of God, of our beloved Creator, that is constantly speaking to every human heart? Yet too often you're not aware of those divine impulses, you're not aware of those promptings. It's all because of the duality history, isn't it? Now, certainly, in your meditations, you may be aware of wonderful, warm activities, waves of love that can thrill the chest cavity, and you can just feel so wonderfully puffed up for a while through your happy moments and meditations. Yet you don't necessarily know what qualities does the Mother Presence give you through the heart, so you don't have the succinct knowing of that light and love in terms of what was the divine thoughts, what was the divine feelings, the divine qualities that always comes with the increase of light and love. And so it is. It is this that I come to correct. And I think you'll be quite delighted in what I have to offer you, because all you have to do is call upon myself, Elohim, Cassiopeia, and I will do the work required to correct this. And I will do this by placing an electronic current, a force field, between your mind and your higher mind, between your heart and your soul, a force field around any light and love, greater light and love, that is coming into your outer mind, into your daily thinking mind, into your heart, so that any light and any love that's coming to you, especially during your meditations, that you become aware of the divine thoughts, divine ideas, divine qualities that are always within that greater light and love. Because what I can do is make sure that light and love that is growing within you is surrounded with an electronic force field. And when this is done, it means that when you are bombarded sometimes by the outer world activities of the outer world, it means that those activities from the outer world are not going to push that light and its divine thoughts back up into your higher Christ mind. which is too often what I see is happening. And because that's what's happening, you receive more light along with divine ideas. And when that happens, especially in your meditations, because that's not protected when you go out into the world, you attend things and you're dealing with the duality of the world, along with the power of suggestion that has become charged into the very atmosphere you breathe. And then, even though you experience greater light and greater love, you are not aware of the divine ideas and qualities that are coming in with that increased light and love. So let's fix this, beloved hearts. So again, my point is that you turn within. And then you go back out into the world, and the duality thought forms take a certain toll on you. And what happens is that this does not allow you to receive, to become aware of the divine impressions, the ideas, the directions that are coming from your own higher mind, of which whose ideas, whose thoughts, whose directions, if you became aware of them, if you picked up on them, followed through on them, would allow you to never make another mistake and be protected from the duality of the outer world. So once again, let's be very clear, because it's not just about each of you sending the message, yes, Cassiopeia, let's do this. I call upon you to place an electronic force field between my mind, higher mind, and my thinking mind, between my soul and my heart, to protect all of that, and so that ultimately I can become aware of the divine ideas and the divine qualities that are coming in with that light and love. And with this, of equal importance is that you understand what has been happening. And because of this, that you haven't been picking up on, you haven't been recognizing, you haven't been aware that with all this light that is increasing in you, and the greater love, that there has been a whole lot of ideas and counsel and guidance and discernment and everything else, though you didn't pick up and recognize it. You weren't aware of it. So I want you to understand what happens here. And I want you to understand that in these beautiful moments that you're in peace and harmony, and where you come together, whether it's in a group in your homes or in classes, or you come together with like-minded and like-hearted individuals, and you experience such love and harmony and joy and great pleasure in being with each other. Or you enjoy great pleasure and joy in opening the floodgates to God's great messengers, the ascended ones, or the angelics, and just fill yourselves overflowing with so much greater light and love. Then you go out into the outer world, and sometimes it's like being knocked on the head, and you get pulled out of that place. And this then interferes with you being aware of all that is coming in with that greater light and love, especially when you meditate. Now, I'll do the work here, yet there is a very special group of Ascended Masters that I am going to be working with. And regarding the Ascended Masters, it is about those ones who have being human like you are before their ascension. It is about these ascended masters who have the experience, third-dimensional world behind them. It is about those who had, even before their ascension or their resurrection, who, receiving a divine intervention from Cassiopeia of electronic force, electronic energy in their brain and mind activity, in which over a period of time, the atomic duality charge energy lessened and lessened, and the divine electronic energy increased until one just overcame the other. So when I say to you that I'm going to draw an electronic force, if you ask me to protect that sacred space between your mind and your higher mind, that space between your heart and your soul. And when I say to you, I'm going to draw that electronic force from the Ascended Master realms, I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to your Ascended Masters who wrote your names in the Ascension Scrolls, ones that you have known in past lives, and I will call upon each of them to direct to me, Cassiopeia, some electronic force from their presence, which has been on this earth in their lifetimes, and was held in the great causal body of their presence before their ascension. So this is an electronic force that has already been in your world. It's an electronic force that has already touched a human life stream who became an ascended master. It's an electronic force, therefore, that your body atomics and that your humanity will not go into tremendous shock, because whatever has been in this world in the past is remembered, including the electronic force of divine intervention provided to masters before they completed their resurrection and ascension. That's a part of your humanity. And there is that aspect of the mental body that will recognize this electronic force, which means I don't have to step it down. I don't have to layer it in. I don't have to take time with this and slowly build it up so that it gains its momentum. Rather, I will go directly to those ones that Mother Akasha has named as your Ascended Master sponsors. Now, whether you know who they are or not is not relevant in this moment. I will respond to every one of you who has sent me a message that you would like me to use my Elohim authority and create an electronic force field within your daily thinking mind and heart and your higher mind and your soul, so that all the incoming light that comes from your higher Christ mind and all the incoming love that comes from the deeper chambers of the heart of your I Am God presence, your soul, I am asking you to realize this is the inner activity, the light that comes from your higher mind, the love that comes from your greater heart, the soul of your I Am God presence. This is the inner activity of life, and that inner activity, which comes through the greater light and love, always, precious hearts, comes with ideas, discernment, guidance, And from the greater heart comes great qualities. And I am going to protect all of this for you. So that when you've been out in the outer world too much, those ideas and qualities do not get dimmed in a way that you're not even aware of them. And what I'm going to do, as that enters into your mind and heart, and I am directing an electronic force field provided to me from your Ascended Master sponsors into your mind and heart, so that any increase of light and the intelligence that comes with it is protected, so that as you go back out into the world in peace, being in harmony, being in the fullness of the presence, then a number of things will happen. The first thing that won't happen is that the incoming light and love, which seeks to give you the comprehension of what your higher mind and heart's thinking and loving for you, so that with the electronic force I will place in your mind and heart, none of those divine activities will be inhibited anymore by the duality world. Please understand these things as a process. Also with that force field that I place within each of you, between your mind and your higher mind, between your heart and the heart of your I Am Presence that I call the soul. This is where it's going to be placed, because it's in the mind, it's in the outer mind and the outer heart that you often get impacted. And so this intervention is going to help you so much. So let's get this straight. I'm not going to put this electronic force field in your inner mind or your inner heart. It doesn't need it. It already has one. It's your outer mind, your thinking mind. It's in the outer chambers of the heart and around the shell of the heart that I will place this electronic force field. Again, where will I get it from? I will go to the higher Christ mind of all who have associated themselves with Mother Akasha's rose pink love. And I will get the information of all your Ascended Master sponsors from her. And these are those beings who wrote your names in the Great Ascension Scrolls. Then I will communicate with all of them. I will call upon each of them to place in the great Elohim temple that exists in the seventh dimension, to send there a small electronic force field from their time when they were on the earth. As those force fields begin to show up in the Elohim temple, I will then collect those electronic force fields and I will place them in and around your mind, in and around your heart. With those electronic force fields in place, this will allow you to recognize that with the incoming light and love that you're calling forth from your presence or meditating upon, the higher mental body, you will then begin to recognize, you will become aware that with that light is coming magnificent ideas. It is coming with discernment. It is coming with guidance, the likes of which if you follow, you'll never make another mistake. And the love is coming in with great qualities you will be able to discern. Now, that electronic force field will be placed around your heart so that the greater love that your hearts are preparing to express will give you a cognition that that love is coming forth in ways that you have been prepared for. Because remember, the soul is ultimately the mother presence of each of you. She knows how to nurture you. She knows how to hold you. She knows exactly what qualities you need for love to fulfill itself in you. And so, as that love pours through your hearts, and I place the electronic force field around your heart, this means that through your intuitions, your sensitivity, your heart's inner knowing, you will become immediately in your awareness as to how that love in qualities is giving itself to you to express and how to express it. Now, I'm counting on you. You continue your studies, you continue your meditations, because I cannot do this without all the natural inner activities increasing within yourself that come through your studies and meditations. Inner activities such as inner will, inner power, inner strength, inner light, inner love, inner whatever. All that comes from the inner activity, the Christ mind, the soul heart, and all that comes from the inner activity will be affected by these electronic force fields that I place in the mind, in and around the heart, which means that here there is something that you can do, and that is to take up the call where you call forth the inner strength, the inner illumination, the inner power, the inner will from your own beloved presence that allows you to accomplish whatever it is that you wish to do in this world. So, this is coming down to a pretty fair intervention, if you ask me. An intervention for you. And what will happen as this unfolds between your mind and higher mind, between your heart and your soul, what it means is that when you come out of that place of being in the fullness of your presence, and let me also say that that day will come, hopefully sooner rather than later, that you will never come out of the place of being in the fullness of the presence, because you will complete teaching yourself to stay in the fullness of the presence while you walk, while you talk, while you think, while you feel, while you engage, while you breathe, while you experience, while you create, doing all of this in the fullness of the presence. You will come to that place of teaching yourself how to stay in the fullness of the presence at all times. The point is, until then, this electronic force field in the interim, in the short term, is going to help you to stay in the peace, in the harmony, in the happiness, and in the joy that you are experiencing more of now, so that as you go out into the outer world, whether it's to the supermarket, whether it's to work, you are able to stay in that state without being bombarded by the power of suggestion, by the ocean of human thought forms and waves of emotion that are in the atmosphere, and no longer be impacted by them. Therefore, you are able to stay in that place of greater peace and harmony more often, which will assist you to benefit from the electronic force field. That again I say, I will place in the mind and in the heart, so that you are picking up, so that you are becoming aware of the divine ideas, the messages, the direction, the discernment that is coming from the Christ mind and the soul heart. And I feel that if you will cooperate with me and make this request, then you will receive the greater assistance. And so all that it requires here is a little bit more mastery, that you'll take control of yourself. There is no room in your life for hatred. You know this. There is no room in your life for fear. You know this. And there is no room in your life for doubt. You have taken your stand, and there is only room now for the great activities that you are discovering is the true nature of your own beloved I Am God presence. That's your divine nature. You want it. You demand it. You own it. You call it. You live it. You experience it. You express it. That's ownership, dear hearts. And you don't move back out into that different place that was the old you. You're going to come to love the new you. And so it is, dear hearts, this is a big thing that I want to help you with. You just have to make the call. I will do the work, and I've explained to you a little bit of the details of the work that I will engage in to make it happen. The moving in and feeling the good, the blessings, the wonderful feelings that are yours, you ought to feel all the time. And then being pulled out and seeming to feel you have to face something, and then you have to take all that effort to get back into your own peace and bliss. You can stay in that peace and all the bliss and all the harmony that you desire. And you can make sure that you are aware of the divine ideas just flowing into your mind, divine qualities flowing through your heart, and all of this moving beautifully, and attend every event that you put on that in yourself, your life, without ever getting pulled out again, and becoming aware of all the divine ideas that are coming through your light and all the greater love that is coming through, all the qualities of that love. Mighty Cassiopeia, I accept your offer. I invite you through my Ascended Master friends and sponsors. I invite you to place an electronic force field between my mind and my higher Christ mind, between my heart and the heart of my beloved God presence, my soul. That electronic force field that will protect all the wisdom and all the qualities of love that are coming through that increase of light and love, so that I become aware of that wisdom, aware of those qualities, and then I can act upon them. This is what I offer you, my beloved precious hearts. This is quite a journey you are on, a journey back to your divinity, a journey to becoming once again the creative beings you were always intended to be. And for that to unfold, you must have all the divine guidance that the greater light seeks to offer you. And you must know the greater qualities of love that the greater heart seeks to offer you. As you become aware of this, then you can act upon it. the Elohim, which includes the Eloah and the Elohim. We are coming once again closer to the people of earth. We are here to assist each of you in the fulfillment of the divine plan of your lives, the fulfillment of all life upon this earth, the fulfillment of all the kingdoms of life upon earth, and the fulfillment of the planet Earth and her purpose too. I enfold you in the blessings of love's eternal presence. I enfold you in the wisdom of the higher Christ mind. I thank you, beloved hearts, for your time today. Namaste, namaste, namaste.